Tech Nine show?
I've seen them at maybe a festival, just
Yeah.
like a festival set, not
Yeah.
an actual like full,
Yeah.
hour and a half show.
It's wild, dude. It's wild. It's like
They spit bars.
It's
I
like the
listen to
metal
them when I run.
version.
I listen to them when I
Yeah,
run, 'cause
yeah.
They'll just jack you up.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know? They'll get you fucking rattled.
It's so aggressive, and the shows is like it's like more of a heavy metal crowd, you know. So you got to be in the right mindset to fucking take on a Tech Nine.
So you're
show.
saying no acid, no mushrooms at a
I would say definitely a different vibe, dude.
All right, hey, look, we're not here to knock or throw stones at anybody else's glass house, but that may not be my cup of tea.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
I
sure if
feel
I
you.
want to
I
do the
feel you.
heavy metal slash rap scene.
Well, I went to-
I'll still be at the show. I'll just be
Yeah.
like looking, purveying from a distance.
There you go. I went in Albuquerque, and they did a what's it called, where they split the crowd in half and have them all run at each other.
Mosh pits?
Yeah, but it's like a wall of death or something. Like there's a certain. They did that, and I was like not into that. I was like, I do not want to fucking take part in this right now. Like,
Nah, I'm out.
yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
out.
Don't make me mosh. I'm down with like the people in the front moshing, but like don't make the entire crowd mosh.
I can get that completely. And you know what? If you make folks mosh, then I'm going to be less inclined to see it the second time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you got folks that are down to mosh, fucking have at it.
You gotta mosh if you gotta mosh.
Yeah, it's a great way to relieve some stress. Throw some elbows in some horrible patron on the other side of the Red Sea.
Dude, I saw people just getting punched in the face like innocent bystanders because like the whole crowd was supposed to be moshing. Me and my brother were like in the back, like trying to creep like further and further out. Anyways, not a big mosher, but
Well, then let's talk about this though. So we were talking a little bit about Fillmore shows, artists, bands, things of that nature. Who are some folks that maybe you take? I guess those that you can use as a muse or an inspiration. Where do you get your kind of the ideas? Obviously,
Yeah.
not your lyrics or your the flow. You kind of come up with that on your own. But who are some folks you kind of tailor your work or your art after?
yeah. I'm very lucky that I have like a background as a drummer. I think that a lot of like the rhythmic shit that I'm doing is essentially it's like me drumming with words, and that's kind of like how I approach it. Like I have a drumline background, I have like a drum set background, and when I write my raps, like the first thing that I hear right away is like the rhythm of the words, like the flow, like long before I even know what the song's gonna be about. And so I don't even think that's the question you asked.
I was just looking for maybe who was inspirational and like how you
Yeah.
developed your.
Right.
But you do. I mean, you have
I remember
a
what I was
killer
getting
song.
at. Yeah. So anyways, what I was getting at is like I took drum lessons, with this guy Mike Candido, and he was this New York Italian guy, and he introduced me to Miles Davis and Buddy Rich and like real jazz kind of stuff. And then I would go home to my dad's house. My parents aren't together. I'd go to my dad's house, and it would be a lot of rock and roll, like 70s stuff,
Classic rock.
Classic
Shit we
rock.
can't find anymore.
Exactly. And I loved all that. And then he was even into, he's a rock and roll guy. Like, even in the 90s, he was jamming Dave Matthews and all the 90s rock.
Still enjoyed rock
exactly.
through the years.
Like today, like I think his dream is still for me to be like a rock and roll
He's like,
star.
hey man, don't give up on that drum thing. You
he
can
does.
go work with somebody.
No joke, he definitely does like encourage me to like. He's every time I'm home, dude. My dad's like, I've always envisioned you being like Robert Plant in front of like a badass rock band.
Well, you got the hair. So for those that maybe don't follow, go follow Dylan at Instagram at Dylan Montayne. We'll spell it out for you at the end of the episode, so stick around. But you got the hair. You could be in a, whether it be an 80s hair band or if
that's
it's a
the
fucking
dream.
rock,
That's the dream.
You gotta have the hair that beats with it. So
Well, look,
you got that part going for you.
I think the
Flow.
rap thing is a young man's game, and when I get up there 40, 50, 60, I really, really, no joke, envision myself getting back behind a drum set. And before then, I'm not going to wait till then, but I just think that I'm going to evolve back into a fucking rocker, and I'm just going to play drums, and I'm going to have the hair.
You're an artist in any way you slice it. It just happens that the hot hand that's playing today is your rap crew.
Right, and it's good timing for it. It's what's popular now, and it's what I love the most, and what I feel the most. You know, I listen to rap more than anything, so it's kind of
favorite artist, our favorite rappers that's spitting today.
J. Cole, like by far, and that was kind of one thing, like
Chicago boy.
North Carolina.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Shoot from the hip.
Yeah. No, you're good. When I first started rapping was when J. Cole was like first blowing up, and he really was like my main inspiration because he's like a college educated dude, and like he's not from like that crazy of a background. Like he just wanted to be a rapper.
He didn't do like the Biggie route.
He wasn't selling drugs. Yeah, exactly. So
Jay-Z and those guys.
Yeah, he could have kind of succeeded in anything, and he chose the rap route, and he's built a complete empire. He's like one of the biggest rappers in the world now.
If I know his name, then you have to be very successal.
Yeah.
Because I listen to fucking 80s music.
There you go. You and my dad could jam out, dude.
I'm not saying I'm musically talented. I have the rhythm of the average white guy.
There you go.
Give me a couple shots of tequila and whiskey.
Maybe a little better. All right.
But your dad probably has me beat in that regard as well. I can't jam, but I'll sit there and sing really badly about it. But yeah, continue on. Sorry.
Yeah, so, J. Cole, definitely a big influence. I mean, growing up, my brother, I have an older brother, he was really into rap, and like all the greats, you know, Biggie, Tupac, Nas, Jay-Z, Method Man, what have you.
Rev Run, the crew.
Yeah, just everything, like that whole like 92 to 97 like golden era of rap where like all the good shit came out. Mobb Deep, like everybody, and every morning on the way to school, like we'd be listening to rap at very, very high volumes, and I hated it. I was like, I was this little white boy in New Mexico, and like everyone was like listening to rap at all times, and I was still in kind of like my rock and roll drummer phase, and I'd always be like, turn this down, but maybe it was like osmosis or something, but it like seeped into me eventually to where like that was all I was listening to, and like once I started driving in high school, that was all that was playing in my car was Tupac.
Did you have the subs in your car?
Oh, dude, we did. Yes.
What was it, like 210s, 212s in the back just shook when you went down the neighborhood
My brother
street?
put them on, dude. My brother put them in. We had a Volvo, and
I had a Volvo, 1990 GLS or something like that.
There you go. The
odometer, North speedometer worked. So people would be like, how the fucking fast? Why are you going so goddamn fast?
Yeah.
But I was like, I didn't know how fast I was going.
Did you have subs?
I did not.
Oh, you need the subs in the Volvo.
Well, I mean, it was a little different scene for me in this thing. I wasn't as much into rap. It was more like punk rock and Fall Out Boy.
Ooh, I was into that. I was into that.
I was into that. A lot of Blink and Boxcar.
So when
soccer and like maybe a little Linkin Park, I was a little bit different.
Into it.
Yeah.
When my brother was like jamming rap down my throat, I was listening to Fall Out Boy and shit. And
Chicago?
Dude, I'm not joking. Like his friends, my brother's friends currently, still giving me shit about liking Fall Out Boy, and I'm gonna stand behind Fall Out Boy, dude. I fucking love Fall Out Boy. I wish I was in Fall Out Boy.
I mean, I would love to be in them because they are still touring, 15, 18 years later?
They've stayed relevant for fucking 20 years.
It takes very hard to do that in like a punk, like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me in an emo way thing.
Dude, you don't know
I've switched
how...
the gears to jam bands now, so it's a little bit different, but I still do a lot of 80s. A lot of 80s.
Do you ever... All right.
So I'm kind of lost
I'm really happy we're talking about Fall Out Boy, because I've really needed my time to defend my choices. I think that...
Where is your
boy tonight? Yes, dude. I still listen to that. I still listen to Fall Out Boy.
Shout out McVeigh. I know you're listening. I know you like it.
Is that your pop rock friend?
He's my ninja. Yeah, I love that guy.
There you go.
And he had the subs, and he had like the display on like the hand placed CD player. That had the screen that maybe would change colors.
Yeah.
Like the LED lights or whatever. I'm like, that's sick. Whereas I'm using like the tape into the CD player. Like with the long cord that comes out of the old Volvo. Sorry, I don't know how we got on that tangent. We started talking about Volvos. Yeah. So go back.
Well, the worst mistake I made was, like, when my brother could drive and I couldn't yet, I asked him to go to Best Buy and, like, get the new Fall Out Boy album for me. And he did it, which was great. But then I got to school, and all his friends were like giving me shit about listening to Fall Out Boy. And then, fast forward like 10 years from that, and I see these dudes, and they're still giving me shit for listening to Fall Out Boy. But I'm going to stand by it.
Hey, I like it. And the fact is, if someone's shouting at you for your musical preference, it means that they don't have any other shots to fire at you. So you must have been beating them in
Maybe that's it.
I rip on our buddies that do, like, we have a big Fish constituency and following, and so I fuck with them, 30-minute tweezer reprise and bullshit
there you go,
like that.
There you go.
Yeah, teach their own.
There you go.
Our crew, our team is big into the bluegrass scene. Shout out to friends of the program, Trout Steak, Paul Hoffman, and Green Sky.
Hell yeah.
But at the same time, I'm with you, brother. It's hair bands and fucking a little bit of punk.
Yes. I mean, I have to admit, like, I didn't really get into the jam band or bluegrass scenes until I got to Colorado. I feel like that's really big out here. And my girlfriend, she's a Colorado gal through and through, and so she started introducing me to Green Sky and Railroad Earth and all those bands. And I love them. And then a little bit of the jam band stuff. Like, I haven't seen Fish ever, but I've been. Is String Cheese Incident? String Cheese, Humphreys McGee. I've seen them. They went to Notre Dame too, so that's like cool.
And Humphreys will go a little bit more hard rock, and then switch back into the jam. They can shift gears real quick. And same with like Cheese, they can go kind of a little bit electric, and then they can switch back into a bluegrass scene real quick.
Totally.
Nershi and Kang used to be real deep in the bluegrass, and they have Michael Travis does a lot of EODO shit, So the EDM scene's big here in Colorado.
Right, exactly.
Too, so.
It's that's kind of like the funny dynamic. Is it's either like EDM bassy shit, or it's like back home bluegrassy banjo music. Like, those are the things that I feel like Colorado is like channeled into. Yeah. And then, like, it's cool. So I was never honestly into either of those scenes until I moved here, and then you just see like the passion of the fans, especially on like the jam band like scene. Like, people live and die by that. And
Red Rocks helps with that. Having the best venue, or outdoor venue. Shout out to our friends at the Fillmore for indoor venues. But, that outdoor venue, and Green Sky kind of started as an opener, and then have now worked their way to selling out, headlining Red Rocks. So, everyone starts somewhere. I think my first show here in Colorado was actually a Green Sky show at the Bluebird. And I was like, it's a little bit different than your average bluegrass, but it's not bad. I was rolling, and this wasn't what I was looking for. And next thing you know, I mean, they fucking just beat the shit out of them. They slay. And it's a lot of fun. So,
dude, I think my favorite bluegrass band is Railroad Earth, because they have drums, and like me being a drummer by heart, like that's almost like that's the hump I have to get over in bluegrass. Like, there's no drums, so a lot of times there's no drums. So but I mean, I love it, and there's rhythm in what they're doing. But
what's the dude's name? And I'm gonna hate myself for not knowing this. I'm sure our listeners will let me know. Old dude on the fiddle. Oh man, he looks for Railroad. He's got the long gray hair. He kind of looks like the guy from Independence Day.
I don't know their names.
I think it's Carbone. Michael Carbone, something along those lines.
Okay.
The guy just fucking slays. And you can feel it. You can feel the passion that kind of conveys through.
Yeah. It's really fun to, like, you get in that zone to go to a bluegrass show, and it's not going to be like bass in your face, but it's just like still like you rock out to it, and like it's its own thing. And like the only reason I'm like probably coming off as like a total noob about bluegrass, like I literally never ever listened to it until I moved to Colorado. So
did it? I was the same way. Like you mentioned, Humphreys was a band that we called, down in Mississippi, and bands like Tribe. I think Panic was a big one, which was a southern rock, And then everyone knows Fish nowadays. And I had never seen them until I moved here. So I'm kind of in the same boat. But at the same time, you have this whole almost like other genre that not only appealed to you, but also you kind of bring out in yourself.
Yeah. I just love all kinds of music. Like, that's why it's going back to like my influences. Like, it really runs the table, like all different genres. Everything from like real old school jazz to rock and roll to like pop rock to pop, straight up pop, you know, and like.
What's the most embarrassing person you would? I mean, let's pretend like no one's gonna hear this.
All right,
I'll edit this out.
All right, I don't care. I'll own it.
It's all right.